Hey everybody, Greyce here. Welcome to another video. I know it's been a little bit since I've made something. This is just kind of a hobby YouTube channel for me, so I'll just upload when I can find time to, essentially. So this video will also be kind of rough. I'm just making this all up as I go. I wanted to make kind of a quick video. This will be a bit of a deck profile. I want to talk about some tournaments that I recently played, and a little bit about the state of the meta and Warriors at the moment. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I've been on, I'd say, a little bit of a heater lately with my last two finishes at tournaments. I've finished in the top 8, and I'm very proud of that accomplishment. I know that's not a giant thing to, some of the best players that are consistently winning, but to me, who, for quite a while competitively in this game, I had a negative win rate. To be able to string some wins together, it feels really good and validates a lot of the practice and the work that I put in. I don't know why I feel like I need to justify it, but still a ton to improve. Still have a long way to go. I'm making consistently big misplays almost every single match, but we'll get there. Maybe one of these days I'll get over the finish line and win one of these things. I think it's bound to happen if I just keep at it. So I recently finished 2 weekends ago. I think I played in the Patreon World Championship Qualifier 39, where I got 5th place. And then this past weekend, I played in the France Championship, where I also finished in 5th place, running virtually the exact same deck. Now, to talk about how I built this Warrior deck the way I did, I kind of have to talk about the meta a little bit. As many people are aware, Turbo has kind of taken a little bit of a step back in the GOAT format meta at the moment competitively. I would say there's two main contributing factors to that. One of those being Turbo has been so prevalent, so dominant that Turbo was heavily main decking for the mirror match with mind controls in the main, with triple dust shoots in the main. And it's kind of allowed that opening for Warriors to kind of exploit the matchup. That is one of the reasons. The other reason is that the typical Turbo siding strategy against Warriors is to bring in Zombiras, to bring in extra battle traps. And the kind of changes in the siding strategy of Warriors has mitigated that in a lot of ways with cards like Spirit Reaper and Mobius that, Zombira does nothing against Spirit Reaper. Mobius deals perfectly with Zombira. It deals perfectly with those battle traps that your opponent's siding in. So I know that Lucas and Labounty and others helped popularize this. I know Lucas in his GFC deck ran the Spies and the Reapers in the side, and he would side into all of them, almost upping the monster count games 2 or 3, playing more of a slow-paced play style games 2 and 3, letting those Mobiuses go off and hit a bunch of battle traps and get nice pluses. And so those changes in the siding strategy have kind of, like I said, mitigated what the Turbo is doing with their side. Now, that's going to change eventually. Turbo players are going to adapt and find different ways to do things. But at the moment, Warrior is kind of the best deck, I think. And Turbo has kind of taken a step back. So with that all in mind, that is kind of how I built this deck. The idea is I want to have a Warrior deck that is very well-rounded. I want to have a decent matchup against Turbo, but I do not want to go overboard. Obviously, if I'm expecting a heavy Turbo meta, then I will change my game plan. But I am not expecting as much Turbo. Still plenty of Turbo. I mean, this deck in general has a decent Turbo matchup. But I didn't want to go overboard. So no triple dust shoot, no mind control in the main. I'm going just 1 Mystic Swordsman, only 2 Kaiku. I want to have a decent matchup against Turbo, and then I really want to hedge my bets against Warrior and against Control. That's one of the reasons that I have the Tsukiyomi in the main deck. I know Tsukiyomi's a little weird in Warriors, but I personally just really, really like it. It's fantastic in the mirror match, deals with all of their monsters outside of DD Warrior Lady and Donzalug. And also, for obvious reasons, it's good against Control. I like it. I like it a lot in this deck. In the main deck, that's why I'm running it. If I'm running to Turbo, I will side it out games 2 and 3. But it's fantastic against Control. It's fantastic against the mirror. And I wanted to kind of hedge my bets against those matchup. I feel like I read the meta pretty well with a lot of Warriors. I've played so many mirror matches over these 2 tournaments. But I did not play much Control. I didn't see a lot of Control. which is surprising to me because I think that Control is primed right now to take a massive step forward with how much Warrior is getting played in these tournaments. That's why I have this main deck Sook. I have the Book of Moon in the main. I have double Book in the side and the Wangoos. I'm really prepared for the Control matchup because I guarantee you these next 2 or 3 events you're going to see a little bit of a resurgence of Control if people actually play it. I just feel like it's really good right now with how heavy Warrior is. And also to help with that Warrior mirror match, I have these Gravekeeper Spies in the main deck, and Spies also just great into any matchup. I mean, it's such a versatile card. It's fantastic in the mirror at walling out your opponent and stalling, but it's also a great aggressive card at putting 2,400 damage on board very quickly. I didn't want to go overboard with the flips. I don't really like Dekoichi in this deck. I've played a little bit of the flip warrior type stuff, but so there are flips in here. The Spies, I mean, the Faith is almost a standard at this point, but that's kind of how I built this deck this way, to have this a well-rounded matchup against all 3 of the biggest decks, and it did so. I think it performed really well. What else is of note? So I kind of went through the deck a little bit. Because you're running the Spies and the Faith and the Tsukiyomi, the monster lineup has to change a little bit. So I went with 2 Blade Knights. Really didn't miss the third. Also, Tsukiyomi can conflict with Blade Knight a little bit. But overall, I was really, really happy with this lineup. A lot of 2-ofs in the trap lineup. Just wanted to stay well-balanced, well-rounded. And the rest of this is fairly standard. The deck is basically the same in both tournaments, except for because of the prevalence of this Spirit Reaper Spy combo that comes in games 2 and 3 from Warriors, I wanted to side a second Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke. I should have done this originally in this first version of the deck, but I wanted to have this in the side to kind of help deal with those Spies, deal with those Spirit Reapers. You could even almost consider maining 2 at this point, but I don't know. Rest of this I would say is fairly standard, and it performed really well for me. What else do I have to say? The tournaments themselves, they were good. Like I said, I really want to get over the finish line and win one of these things. I've gotten close these last 2. I played against quite a wide range of matchups in the Patreon World Championship. I played I think 2 Turbo, 2 Warriors. I think I played like 1 Control, and then Reasoning Gate. I lost to Patrick Zero in the mirror match. I think he just outplayed me. I don't feel like I played my best that match. He was playing very fast, and I have been trying to take my time a little bit more lately, and it made me play fast, and I learned quite a few lessons through that match, but ultimately he got me and played better than me, and so that was my first loss in this tournament. My second loss, I just got Reasoning Gated. Jinzo, he like dropped Jinzo within 2 or 3 turns, and I had no answers both games, and it was pretty brutal. So I lost to Reasoning Gate in this one, and then in this tournament, my first loss was to my teammate in the War League, Mr. Big Noodle. Shout out to Mr. Big Noodle for taking this whole tournament down. He's been pushing for bottomless in the main deck of Warriors, and it was a great event to bring it to. So he had, he was bottomlessing my stuff left and right. I also just drew horribly in that match. I opened double knock game 1. Games 2, he hit me with the BLS ring combo and took me down. So shout out to Mr. Big Noodle for that one. And then my second loss, I can't remember who it was. It was another Warrior match. I just did not draw well. Drew like almost all monsters both games 1 and 2. In this tournament, the France tournament, I played against Warriors every single round. I mean, Warriors is just so prevalent right now. And I feel like this deck handles the mirror match very well. I was very confident in the mirror match with this, with the Spies in the main deck, with the siding strategy of bringing in the Reapers and the Zombiras and the Mind Control. 7 tools was fantastic. These last 2 events. So that's about it. That's all I really got. I just want to talk a little bit about the deck, a little bit about the state of the meta in those 2 tournaments, and that's all I got. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And until the next one, bye.